It is March 22nd, 21st. It's the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board meeting, and it's 7 o'clock. Before we get started, we do just want to acknowledge Councilman Joe DeGenova, who passed away this week. He was on council on and off for 25 years, and this will be missed by many people here in Delaware. So before we begin and take roll call, we'll just have a moment of silence, please. Okay, thank you. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Mr. Bricker? Mr. Brookover?
Here.
Ms. Cunningham?
Here.
Mr. Dalton? Ms. McWhite?
Here.
Councilman Rohr?
Here.
Vice Chairwoman Heminger?
Here.
Chairwoman Lush?
Here. Can I have a motion to excuse Mr. Bricker and Mr. Dalton?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Please call roll.
Who seconded? I'm sorry. I didn't call your name. I'm so sorry. Mr. It's really stuck.
Present.
Yep. Mr. Brookover?
Yes.
Ms. Cunningham?
Yes.
Ms. McWhite?
Yes.
Mr. Rue?
Yes.
Councilman Rohr?
Yes.
Vice Chairwoman Heminger?
Yes.
Chairwoman Lush?
Yes. That actually brings us to our next topic. We have a new board member. So if you want to introduce yourself.
I'm Bob Rue.
Well, welcome, Bob. Okay, then can I have an approval to a motion, I'm sorry, to approve the meeting minutes from last month, February 21st. And just as a reminder, if you were not here, as long as you read them, you can provide an approval. I have a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, can you please call roll?
Mr. Brookover?
Yes.
Ms. Cunningham?
Yes.
Ms. McWhite?
Yes.
Mr. Rue?
Yes.
Councilman Rohr?
Yes.
Vice Chairwoman Heminger?
Yes.
Chairwoman Lush?
Yes. Okay, do we have any public comments tonight? Not look like it. Okay, then we will move on to the presentation from the United Way regarding the Bourne Learning Trail. If you want to come up here. Thank you.
Guys. Appreciate you letting me come in and share with you. So Bourne Learning Trails are part of a larger project called Strengthening Families.
Before you start, ma'am, can you give us your name and your address?
Kelsey Fox, Collective Impact Specialist, and I'll get into in a moment here what exactly Collective Impact is. Strengthening Families is our latest Collective Impact initiative. You can go to the next one. So our mission is to empower Delaware County residents through lifelong learning using a collective approach. That's good. That's good. We can talk about the community needs assessment.
Go back.
So everything we're doing as far as collective impact is driven by the community needs assessment. Collective impact is a concept of getting our local agencies, local governments, school districts, traditional and non-traditional partners out of their silos and around the same table. In the past, we've found a lot of success with Delaware County Hunger Alliance using the same approach. The Hunger Alliance is now entering its 4th year of allocation. So during the majority of the year, the purpose that the Hunger Alliance serves is to follow information from our community needs assessment and the community health improvement plan in partnership with the health district. Throughout the end of the year, we have designated United Way funding from our community partners that has been donated that is divvied up based on applications that are largely in partnership with the health district's community health improvement plan and our community needs assessment. So the idea is that everyone is working together, advocating for each other's programs, and using those funds through this collective approach that's going to do long-term change. So when we got started, we found out that there was a need in the community with food insecurity that not very many people were talking about. We were getting about 500 pounds of food into service the 1 in 17 that were hungry, and now we're doing about 1.6 million pounds of food a year. So we've seen a lot of innovative pieces alongside that. We have mobile food pantries, we have cooking classes, and there's a lot of support throughout these projects that help move the needle on getting people fed and helping them stay fed. So now, if we can go over to community needs assessment, families in constant crisis was the piece we were taking on next with this collective impact model. In the process, we brought in over 60 different partners, including all 4 school districts in the Career Center, bringing in law enforcement, bringing in all of our wonderful education partners who are already working. And we started with a group discussion between nurses, school resource officers, and guidance professionals. And they were able to really help us narrow in. And again, we're seeing the same patterns over and over again. When you see mental health, when you see opiate abuse popping up on assessment after assessment, you know that they're working and that people are communicating their needs. So we ended up rolling opiate abuse, mentorship, and mental health into strengthening families. The next slide. This is going to be our first pilot phase of strengthening families. These partners and our subject matter experts help us put together the research to set the goals, and we narrowed down on focusing on early childhood education and after-school programming. Now, after-school programming is going to focus on that 6th, 7th, and 8th. While it's not certainly limited to it, that's what we're going to be measuring. But today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what our goals for early childhood education are and how our learning trails fit into that. So our goal is focusing on social and emotional skills. We, in all of our districts in Delaware County, use the kindergarten readiness assessment when kids are coming into school. And we are looking to up that number by 6%. So it's already at 91%, but what this family support piece is designed to do is to hone in on that 9% of people who aren't receiving the services that they need, and to up that by 2021 to 97%. And we have a few ways that we're going to do that. So we're going to provide opportunities to identify social, emotional needs by increasing availability of evidence-based assessments. That is a whole process. We're working very closely with our partners in early childhood education, our child care providers, both in-home and center-based, offering mental health services. That's going to be a piece of our mental health drop-in center, and Born Learning Trails are really a part of create a learning environment for children and parents. Now, a tool, while this is not the only place that strengthening families will take place, one tool we're going to be able to utilize is space that we have a partnership with the city schools to rent in Willis. So when Willis goes offline, we're going to be soft launching our Strengthening Families Center here on July 31st, following our Supplies for Scholars event that we're having in the morning. Down the line, what we would like to do is bring this to the entire county and be able to host different pop-up community centers in various locations. Ahead of that, we're going to be able to have our Born Learning Trails dispersed throughout the county, and that's what I'd like to share with you now. We go to the slide. There is a brief 2-minute video from another community that included. Okay, this is not the most recent version. I apologize. That is my mistake for sending that. I can talk about the rest of it without that. That's all right. Born Learning Trails are a piece that are designed to provide social emotional skills for kids. So if you envision the pieces that are at Mingo, where you're hitting a different workout station every time you walk around the trail, it's very similar to that, except it's geared towards developing skills for kids and their parents. It gets you up, it gets you away from your phone, and gets you out having conversation. And the wonderful thing about this project is that it's already paid for. We have a wonderful donation from our affiliate group, Women's Leadership Network, who has agreed to purchase the first trail and to provide a 50% match for the remaining trails. At this point in time, we only have one trail left unsponsored, and we're still gearing up to find the location. So we are really pleased with the enthusiasm behind this project. We're really looking forward to being able to promote it, because this is the first tangible piece of strengthening families for the past year and a half. We've been a room full of nerds just having a conversation and trying to figure out how we were going to help our kids out. And now we're going to have these Born Learning Trails. The first two have been ordered. The first one is sponsored by our Women's Leadership Network. The second by the Delaware Leadership Class of 2017. And each trail involves a specific set of events. So the first event is to have our volunteers come out and have an installation day, a really community engagement opportunity for our donors. They're given the opportunity to provide their own volunteers if they'd like to get the hands-on piece with their sponsorship, or if they would prefer to sponsor and step back, we are always able to find other people who want to volunteer. The second piece is ribbon cutting, which our communications department is going to work to publicize. Each individual trail, as it is made available, is going to have its own ribbon cutting ceremony where we really encourage the families in that neighborhood to come out, have a quick snack, get to try out the trail, and really get excited about having this new piece. As far as responsibilities go, United Way is responsible for all of the materials, all of the installation, and in partnership with the city, we would come up with a schedule for when we would be taking care of any sort of repairs. For example, if there was graffiti, we would be responsible for cleaning the graffiti up. If there was a specific time that the concrete needed sealed, we would plan any additions or corrections to the paint. And that brings me to what the trail is actually made of. There are 10 individual stations. Look, learn, play, laugh, listen, jump. There are different combinations of having conversation and being able to communicate with others around you. The trails themselves are very low maintenance. They are just a pole attached to the signage that we have already ordered and prepared, and individual stations have different individual paintings added next to them. So that's things along the lines of hopscotch, circles, numbers, and letters. And that is Born Learning Trails in a nutshell. Are there any questions I can answer for anyone? And I apologize, the second updated version of this has images of the Born Learning Trails. I have it on a jump drive if anybody has a burning desire to see it.
We watched the video last month.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
great.
it was-
So
yeah.
that was
Yeah.
the same video, so
Yeah.
you've
We saw
already
it.
seen it. You guys are already ahead of me.
Does anyone have any questions? I had a couple. You said that they are going to be on the trail, schedule repairs. Is this a permanent fixture though, or is there a length of time and then it'll be completely gone?
So this is a permanent fixture.
Okay.
The way the MOU has been written to start is through the pilot phase of 2021.
Okay.
But yeah, once they are in, and we are responsible for maintenance and making sure that they're still best practices and they're serving the purpose they are meant to.
And then do we know, is this more for you, Ted? Do we know where we're expecting to have these, which parks and stuff?
Yeah, we looked at Blue Limestone
Okay.
and the Veterans Park as potential locations. I think the Blue Limestone was the first one we thought we'd go in, and if we did two, maybe Veterans around the spray and play walkway that goes around the outside of that spray and play and playground.
And right now it looks as though if everyone is on board, those would be the first two sites for this project because we have two ordered sets already on their way.
Mm-hmm.
And when do you expect to have these put in, or?
We would like to do it in May, but we are flexible.
Is there any concern about having that around the spray and play in terms of how congested that area is? And then this would kind of stop groups of people to do different activities?
Yeah, we talked about that, and we wanted to kind of maybe come up with an alternative location also, but we kind of just mainly, the Blue Limestone was one we kind of zeroed in on. But yeah, that was a concern that, I don't know, Kelsey, do you know how many people, I know it's the
They're
first
designed,
trial run.
yeah, they're designed to be very small groups, like handfuls of people, one parent, and maybe a couple of kids per station.
Yeah, Kelsey, the thing, the spray and play, when we talked about it in our meeting, is
Yeah.
that we get a lot of people out there and adding one more item to it, whether it's going to put that many more people out there, but we can look at an alternative location also for that second site too.
And as far as the best locations, that is absolutely up to you guys. The same way we explored the subject matter experts for the content, we would want to have our subject matter experts tell us for location.
Anyone else have any other questions?
I'm assuming this has been done in other communities with success?
Yes, very much
Like,
so.
how many, how
So
often, all over?
there's not very many in Ohio. Our United Way is very autonomous. Most of our collaborations are local and very few of them are from Worldwide, but this is one thing that Worldwide is doing that we really liked. There's been close to 100 in the Midwest. A lot are in Michigan, Wisconsin, Kansas that have partnered with local government, with local parks departments, with local corporate sponsors. So they've had success with this model, and it's been very easy. The return on investment for this, for as quick and easy as it is to install and maintain, is 10 times over with the impact it has on the kids.
Out of curiosity though, how do you measure the success of this?
So we are going to be working with the health district to put in like the counters, like Abby Trimble from the Creating Healthy Communities grant has already looked at locations to help us select where we were going to go.
Mhm.
And we're going to be adding this in with that CRAW data. In addition to that, we have DECA and ASQ that we're going to use to tie in all of these different initiatives and bits and pieces that are moving the needle.
Any other questions?
What is the trail targeting? Is it the 0 to 5 age range?
0 to 5 age group and families, yes.
Are the signs English only?
For the time being, we have the opportunity, if we find success with the English signs, to order additional Spanish signs, and we've had some conversation around that.
And are there pictures?
There are pictures,
Okay.
more on the ground than on
Yes.
the actual sign.
Okay. So a non-reader could figure out what to do?
Yes.
Okay. And you said it's research-based, so what is that, just out of curiosity?
Borelearning.org, if you'd
Mhm.
like more information on it, as well, or if you go to liveunitedDelawareCounty.org, there is a Strengthening Families tab, and you can find all of our references for our strategic plan there as well.
To Angie's point, the Veterans Park, one of the good things about that playground is that it's all inclusive.
Mhm.
How does this work with that? Is it, I mean, are there challenges with these that not every child could actually do?
That's the idea, is that no matter what your level and where you're developmentally at, that you'll be able to utilize the trail.
Any other questions? I don't know what our next steps need to be. I mean, I think am I the only one who's concerned about it being at the spray and play? I mean, I would like to explore that a little bit more, but I don't know if it's just me.
I actually kind of think that's a good thing though, because it's targeting the age group.
It
I'm afraid
is
of
my
blue
concern.
limestone, nobody will see it, or
My concern is just about the already level of activity going on there, and I guess it just would be good to see where it's going to be placed.
I think that'll be important. Like if it goes around the back, then I think
Yeah,
it'll be
like if it's
fine.
over by the playground area.
Yeah, we'll try to get it back there. I can, Kelsey, your schedule was May, you thought, trying to install. So if you wanted to, I could get with you and we could actually, figure out the signs and then put together an exhibit for the board that shows you exactly where those signs were going around the trail, so you could see it, if that would be helpful.
The possibility would help if it's targeting the same population as the spray and play to disperse that group more. I mean, maybe it's not going to bring in more people, but give the ones that are there more activities. Just a thought.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a great initiative. I would just want to make sure that it would be nice to just see where it's going to be placed, because I'm just envisioning like even more mass chaos around that area.
Kelsey, do you know what the signs will actually look like? I mean, you have,
We just got our first proofs in this week, and I apologize. I can actually get my zip drive out if we want to.
well, what I was thinking is if I could get those proofs, I could put them into an exhibit to show exactly where they would go at on the trail, like work with you to get that together, and then we could make that an exhibit at the next board meeting, and then you could see exactly where these would be going, and I think it'd make it a little clearer to everybody, if that would be helpful.
Is it like the thing at Mingo with the stations that's spread out kind of far apart?
It's similar.
Similar.
It's not as many stations and it's not as much space that's required, but I compare it to those frequently.
Yeah.
The idea to be the perimeter of Veterans Park then around,
Probably more the perimeter of the playground area, because that's about a half mile around there, isn't it, Jeremy?
Yeah.
And that's not the desired length of your system, is it?
We can work with whatever space is available.
Okay.
That's a little bit of a long ways for that age group to walk. But if they are coming at different points in time and they're using different stations during different visits, it's not necessarily something that's dependent on using every station every time you come.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think my question too would be, at Blue Limestone, the same thing, what's the location? Because that's a fairly,
Yeah, it's not a very long trail. I talked to
Quarter
Kelly.
mile?
Yeah. Yeah. It's really short.
yeah, I think it's, I've ran around a couple times, I think it's like less, just slightly less than a quarter.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've talked to Kelsey about that.
As long as we have 3 feet for each station, we're
Yeah.
really okay.
And the signs are short, like little kid height, or are they tall?
But they're adult height.
Okay.
Mhm. Because the idea is that you're there with your adult and you're
Right.
engaging with your adult.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, I mean, what I brought up as a concern, I don't want to hold it up if the time frame is May and there's approval to go ahead and move forward and do it. I just wanted to make sure that we were conscious of where that stuff's being placed as the parks get really busy and there's a lot of people over there. So I don't know next steps what do you need from us for next steps?
How about if I just prepare an exhibit for next meeting, and then you could make a recommendation at the next meeting? What we do with, to move forward with it, and then I think we still keep with your schedule.
Yes, would we be able to come up with a tentative pending approval installation date so I can get back to our volunteers?
Yeah, I don't think that should be a problem.
They were hoping for May 13th.
Okay. Yeah, our next board meeting will be, is it April
It'll be the
April
third
8th.
week of April.
April 18th is the next.
18th. Yeah.
18th. So on April 18th, we should be able to make a decision.
Okay.
Does that work?
Would it be all right if I told them tentatively pending approval the 13th?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody has any concern about doing it, correct?
It's just-
I think just wanted to make sure that we were paying attention to where the location was and taking into account the distance and the amount of people who are there at those specific parks and what that could do to that. But I don't think that there's any reason to, I'm looking at nobody has a problem with it.
No.
I don't know if it's something that needs approval, final approval through council or not.
it sounds like, did they already do the MOU?
Yeah.
I think it's probably something that staff can handle since it's
Yeah.
a donation.
So yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any concern with moving forward with
I don't
it.
think
It was
council has
just,
to approve it.
yeah.
I don't
We
think
make
so
a
on this.
resolution, but I don't
No.
know that we have to.
I don't think so. I think we just need to kind of information to this board, and I can get that information to you next month. So I don't see any problem with that, Kelsey, that schedule.
Wonderful. Thank you guys so much. We're really
Thank you.
excited about this project.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
All
Any
right.
other questions before she leaves?
I don't think so.
Okay.
And feel free to reach out if you have any follow-up questions.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
again.
Thanks. Okay, so then we'll move on to the update from YMCA.
Sure everybody got the report. Any questions with that? You're an easy group.
Their own concise as words.
Glad. We're in a holding pattern right now, so it's a lot of registration going on, so I don't have really any talking points. Just want to reiterate the fact that we had the Mother-Son Superhero Party, which was a huge success again.
Yes, it was awesome.
Yes, that thing is always amazing.
Mhm.
Roger, like I said, he is one of a kind. So we appreciate all the work that he put into it, along with his team and the volunteers, of course. I've gotten a number of emails from parents, moms that were just overjoyed, first time being there and planning on coming again next year. Our only concern is that at some point we're going to have to look for another venue. So what happened to the father-daughter dance? We grew out of that venue and moved to another one, and we're running out of spaces that are big enough to hold these things. So we're trying to look at other alternatives, maybe splitting them up into 2 days, or given we'll have one on Saturday and then one on Sunday, and this is the amount of people we'll take on this date, and this is the amount of people we'll take on this date. Because we hate turning people away and kids not being able to attend. So we're already looking at those options, of course. It is baseball, softball registration time. That is a touchy situation in our office at this point. Everybody's a little on edge, but when you get 800 kids in a program, it tends to happen. Basketball wrapped up, was great. I think we're actually looking to have a 3 adult tournament here pretty soon, that we're just going to try and throw something out there for some adults and see if it takes. But that's about all we have going on at this time. Our normal classes are running, of course, but we're baseball, softball registration heavy, and adult softball, of course.
Anyone have any questions?
What was the status of that? You were talking about adding a second summer camp.
We're still adding it. Yeah, we're not using that shelter.
That has some opposition at the recreation subcommittee meeting.
Yeah, we're still having the camp there at the Y, but it won't be in the shelter. So, I mean, we've got a little over 100 kids right now from the BB system that we're trying to serve. So we'll figure out a way to keep them cool.
I just wanted to add that April 29th is the Healthy Kids Day at the Y, and we are having a Parks and Rec board there, table there rather. If anybody wants to volunteer, I think Angie and I are going to be there. It's from 8:30 to 11:30, and we're planning on having handouts that talk about all the different programs that are going to be coming up, like the all the
Easter events.
Easter past, whatever events we have coming up past that April 29th date, just to have a handout and stuff and talk to people in the community. So if anybody is interested in volunteering, please let Linda know or me know or somebody, but Angie and I will be there from 8:30 to 11:30.
If anybody's looking for any part-time work, I know we're having a job fair tomorrow. So we're on staff at the Y, so part-time staff. So if anybody knows anybody looking for part-time work.
There's a big need for lifeguards, right?
Yeah, that's every day.
Yes. I've been telling my neighbors, they have to be how old? 16 and older?
16.
And you provide the training.
We will train you.
Yes. Anybody know any teenagers?
As long as
who
you can
need a-
swim.
Yeah. That's the
Some
first
stuff we
requirement.
can't. Yeah. As long as you can swim, we can give you the rest of the tools.
Do you know what other part-time positions?
I know we're looking at front desk. We're looking at the wellness floor. We're looking at some camp counselors. We're still looking for MODs, which you have to be 21 to be an MOD, manager on duty. And those hours are a little different. So, but the camp counselors and the rock wall attendants, just all those hourly positions, we're trying to stock up people.
And do any of those have a chance of being full-time?
Not in those positions, but we do hire a lot from within. Actually, some of our team leaders have jobs there now. So they've started in team leaders and now they're working for us. So.
Any other questions?
I don't think so.
Then the next thing is the spray and play shelter use. Is that different than what we just talked about?
Kind of the same thing.
Okay.
That was the only,
Yeah. No, and we had met with the Y and kind of discussed that. Probably wouldn't be able to make that happen this year with that shelter, but depending on how the program does, we could plan for that in the future, whether we try to locate another shelter or something out there that would benefit that program. But kind of go through the first year, see what kind of success it has, and kind of plan from there. But we're not going to allow the use of that shelter this year out there, just because as busy as it is.
Okay, then I think we can move on. There are no more questions about that. to the update of Riverview Park.
Yeah. No,
Did
you
you
can
have
head
any
out
more?
there.
Yeah,
I
you
don't think
did.
that involves.
Right. Unless you want to stay, you're more than welcome.
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted the update for it. I know it came up last meeting, but nothing is, we're not gonna be selling any ground at Riverview Park. It's just kind of become a park that doesn't get a lot of use at this time. But the one use that will be changing is there's gonna be, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but the water plant is opening up an exhibit hall that will be bringing classes out there to look at how water is purified and gets to your spigot, basically. And so with the shelter that is out there, we will be utilizing that for class field trips and things like that. But with the entrance of the park, kind of being a little bit unsafe as you leave that park, and just the low visitation that we do get out there, we'll probably just leave it as a green space, cut down on some of the maintenance out there, mow it periodically, not every week, and just kind of save some staff time there.
Is it
But-
going to be still, will we be able to drive back there, or will they lock the gates?
There's no plans to lock the gates at this point because we don't have a gate in place up front like there used to be during construction. So the gate to the building itself is locked. I don't know if anyone's been back there, but there is but we may, we haven't talked about access to it yet at this point, but we'll look into that. But it will remain a green space at minimum at this point.
I guess the only thing I would see being an issue is like, kids going back there drinking and things like that, if it's open but not really lit
Yeah,
up or-
Because of that, maybe we do look at moving an access gate. I don't know if there's one still in place or not. There was one in place during construction, and if there's one still in place, maybe we utilize that again. I'll talk to Brad Stanton about that a little bit and see what we can come up with there.
Any other questions about that? Okay, then just the updated park activities.
Some of the things, the downtown planters were revamped before the snow came, but Oakland did that, and they're going to come back, so they'll be fine. But they look a little bit better now, and once they get blooms again, they'll come out. In May, we will be getting the planters or the hanging baskets in, so they're growing right now at the nursery, and that's about it on park activities. I guess I can get into it now a little bit. I just wanted to let the board know on April 10th will be the public comment at City Council for the bike plan. That date's been set. We also have an Instagram account for the parks right now, just to kind of update on when the golf course closes or opens, and the dog park, just kind of get that parks and recreation information out there a little bit more and some updates. It's Delaware Parks, at Delaware Parks.
One, just for the group's benefit, one of the trails is having some opposition, the one that's down by the run. So
Yeah,
during the public comment, I expect to hear.
the Delaware Run,
Yeah.
yeah, that trail. I met with some of the neighbors recently, and some people Willowbrook, and that's where a lot of it is. But there's both sides, so we'll hear what we see at public comment. But I think it's an important part of the bike plan, so it'll be something to look at moving forward with.
The sense I was getting was it was kind of an ecological issue for the people that were opposing. Is that?
Yeah, I think they were talking about ecological, also being in the backyards in through there, but it's not the most. I mean, it is. It's a greenway, and it's a nice greenway in the city. So it's an urban greenway, which is not a lot of out there, but it's used a lot right now. I don't know if you've been behind Blue Limestone. There's trails in through there right now. So I'm sure there'll be a lot more discussion about it on that the April 10th meeting, and you're more than welcome to attend. If you have any other comments, I can pass along there too.
I have a question. Any more questions about that? I haven't heard, we haven't had an update recently unless I missed something, and the name that was supposed to be escapes me, but the field over here that is an actual part of the school system, they were looking at turning into.
Board.
Is there any update on that, or where they're at in that, or what's going on?
No updates right now. The Northwest Neighborhood Association is still looking into that. The biggest hang up with that now is what to do with Delaware Run. And the city school still owns that property. So the city really is just kind of working with those agencies but we don't really have they would like us to take over maintenance of that park if it became a park, but the Delaware Run is still the main issue. I just met with the association last month and just deciding what to do with Delaware Run, because if it was to be fixed and relined, that's probably like I think it was like a $750,000 project. So, and then if it was to be opened up, then, it's going to be close to the same just to restore that section of stream. So that's kind of the big issue right now is what to do with that, and trying to target some funding that might help take care of that, but nothing new really to report on that.
Any other questions about park activities? Okay, then we'll move on to staff comments. Do you have any?
I will also mention the basketball courts, the Delaware Coalition basketball courts. We were looking at doing them at Blue Limestone. We're still looking into that. We're trying to gather prices of what it would cost to install that down there, but we may be looking at some alternatives with that also. So we're still getting some updates on that.
Any other staff comments? Okay, member comments? Anybody?
I met with some folks on the NNA last week about that Boardman Park issue, so I'm going to talk to Ted about that.
I passed that park on the way over here, and there's like little kids playing lacrosse on it.
Yeah.
It's where they have like practices.
Yeah.
I did
those
too.
are the-
At Boardman.
Yeah.
It was packed, yeah, packed.
Yeah.
Where'd all those kids go? Okay. Any other comments? Okay, then can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I second.
Okay, we are adjourned at 7:35.